Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel, and today we're doing my third quarter book haul. I love book hauls. I love book hauls. Anyway, so these are all the books that I bought in July, August and September. And I think it's a pretty decent number. There's an embarrassing number of V.E. Schwab, which you might be like, why is it embarrassing? I already owned all of these books. I'm definitely kind of starting to rely on my library and SCRIBD and stuff more. We're kind of trying to read on them first, and then if it's a 5-star book, I'm kind of buying it after the fact. You'll see that in a minute. Or if it's an author that I already know and love / a continuation and things like that. So that is what the majority of this haul is. It's sequels or books from authors that I've already read before, and I'm kind of collecting their books, or I want to read every book that they've written. So we're gonna start in July, obviously. And I bought 5 books in July, which again, pretty decent. So I think I bought the first 3 on the same day. I'll show you a quick glimpse. The first one was Long Shadow by Olivia Atwater. This is the 3rd book in the Regency Fairy Tales series. And I overall really love this series. I've actually read, I've read almost every single book that I've hauled in the past couple of months, except you'll see them when we get to them. So this is the 3rd book in this series and the final book. This follows Abigail Wilder, and she is training to be a magician, and there are these girls going missing, and she wants to prove herself and prove that she can figure out what's going on. So she starts this, and then she comes across a woman called Mercy who seems to have some sort of connection to ghosts, and the two of them end up teaming up, and of course there's romance. I suppose I shouldn't really be reviewing these. This is not the purpose of this. I have wrap-ups for that purpose, but might as well, I suppose, tell you my ratings of these while I'm here, you know? So, Long Shadow. Also, I do love these covers. They're not particularly fancy, but they're so good. I don't know, there's something that's really pretty about them to me. So then, same day, I also hauled Gallant by V.E. Schwab. Remember how I said there would be a lot of V.E. Schwab in this? I read Gallant when it came out last year. Literally day of. I went to I actually think it might have been the day before the bookstore put it out early. I immediately picked up a copy. I have the signed copy over there in hardback and read it. 5-star, love it. Not my favorite V.E. Schwab, but I do really enjoy it. I really want to do another ranking V.E. Schwab updates, but because I think there's been 4 books since I originally did it, but also that'll take so much effort and I'm really lazy. So Gallant follows Olivia. Yes. So Gallant follows Olivia Pryor, and she is in a school for girls, and she has no family, and she is getting to the age where she's going to basically be thrown out of this school and have nowhere to go. But she receives a letter from her uncle calling her home to Gallant, and she goes. But when she arrives, it turns out that letter has arrived a couple of years too late, and her uncle is dead, and there is only her cousin left in the house. It's very atmospheric, and I did really enjoy it. I think the paperback is absolutely gorgeous. I love this. The black and the red is absolutely stunning to me, and when I saw it, I was like, I do not need another copy of this. Oh, I just remembered this is actually my 3rd copy of Gallant, because I have the Owl Crate edition. This was right before I decided, you know what, screw it, I love V.E. Schwab, I am going to just collect her books in as many editions as possible. English speaking editions, I'm not that crazy yet. There could come a point, let's be honest. And then the last book I hauled on that day was Her Majesty's Royal Coven, and this is the one exception to everything else that I said in this video at the start of this video about I'm trying to only buy sequels or authors that I love and all of that kind of stuff. This was an exception, and this is why I have this rule in place basically now, because I gave this 2 stars. It's not the book for me. So many people love it, and I do acknowledge I think it is a very important book. It's just, for my fantasy tastes, it just didn't do anything for me. But I will say, Nicola Coughlan, aka Claire from Dairy Girls, aka Penelope from Bridgerton, she narrates the audiobook. I think she does a phenomenal job. I just was not at all interested in the plot. So, this follows 4? I cannot remember a single thing about this book. This follows a group of women, and we start the prologue is them when they were young and them being part of Her Majesty's Royal Coven. And then we flash forward and their lives have completely changed. They have all gone on separate journeys, and there is this prophecy that kind of brings them all together again. Okay, so then the next book that I hauled was actually a gift from the lovely Emma. I'll leave her Instagram link down below. I listened to it in May, finished the series. I overall really enjoyed it, and I was waiting for the paperback release. Emma was decided to go to one of the Naomi Novik's events over in England because poor Ireland never gets any events. I say as I'm going to a V.E. Schwab event in October, but whatever. She's a hardback girly, and so she was like, I get a paperback with the copy. I was like, yes, I do want it, because I wanted the paperback anyway. And she was lovely enough to get it signed and personalized to me. So yeah, this is like a prized possession, because like obviously it's a gift from a friend. Then also I love Naomi Novik. I've read all of her books now. So prized possession. I love it a lot. The last one that I hauled, again another book that I have actually read already, is The River of Silver by Shannon Chakraborty. No longer goes by S.H. Chakraborty. So this is just a collection of short stories set in the Daevabad world. It's like 239 pages, but it came out as like an audiobook first, and then it came out as a hardback and then a paperback. And I have all the other Daevabad books as paperback, so I wanted to wait for this in paperback, so I waited, and finally it came out in paperback. The Daevabad trilogy is one of my favorite series of all time. Like, I think it's in the top 5. I can't remember. I made a whole list recently, like, and I've already forgotten, but it is definitely in top. I think it's the top 5 anyway. So I obviously wanted this to have in my possession, obviously. So then we get on to August, and August is the month that I hauled the most books, but luckily I shouldn't spend too long talking about them because 5 of them are in the same series. So the first book that I hauled, actually the first 2 I got in the same order, and that is A Gathering of Shadows by V.E. Schwab. Remember I said a lot of V.E. Schwab. And Silver on Nightfall by Rinch Pecco. This is the American paperback because I think the UK cover is ugly. So we'll talk about Gathering of Shadows first. Do I need to talk about this? I don't think I do. So I actually already own a Dark Shade of Magic, the UK paperback. I do not own a Conjuring of Light UK paperback. I do want to own it, but as I mentioned just a little bit ago, V.E. Schwab is doing an event in Dublin. She is not doing a signing with it. It is just a Q&A, but she will have signed a load of books beforehand and they will be on sale there. And so I know how Ireland is. They will most likely be UK paperbacks, and I own almost every single one of her books in UK paperback already because I'm obsessed, and of course I do. So I was going to buy A Conjuring of Light because I was kind of like, out of each paycheck I'll, you know, finish the V.E. Schwab collection. And then I was like, now I'm going to wait until October and hope that like the remaining UK paperbacks that I don't have will be signed and on sale there. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to get a signed copy of A Conjuring of Light paperback. And then also Vicious and Vengeful. Those are, I own them as US paperbacks. Potentially there could also be the new special edition of Our Dark Duet. I have the nice edition of The Savage Song. So those are kind of like the 4 that I'm on the lookout for. But anyway, Gathering of Shadows, it's the second book in the Dark Shade Magic series. My favorite series of all time. Top number 1. I'm not at all afraid of reading the new book. So yeah, so this series follows Kel. He is an Antara, which is a blood magician. He can travel through the 4 different Londons, and he also smuggles things on the side. He's not supposed to do this, does it anyway. And one day he smuggles the wrong thing, and he starts a whole chain of events. And I love him. I love Lila. I love this entire world. As I said, also in that order was Silver on Nightfall. I got these from Blackwell's. If you have been mourning the loss of Book Depository, Blackwell's is a good option. Also Kenny's, but I think Kenny's is a bit more expensive, which is kind of silly since I'm in Ireland, and that is an Irish website. Kind of it can be hit or miss because I was looking at like US editions of V.E. Schwab books. I was looking at the new Shades of Magic covers, which I don't love, but like I kind of want them anyway. Sometimes it's cheaper to get them on Blackwell, sometimes it's cheaper to get them. So like, you know, just shop around, I guess. But anyway, I read Silver on the Nightfall in June. In June, and I gave it 5 stars. I read the ebook. I absolutely fell in love with these characters, and this is my favorite Rinch Pecco book, and I've basically read them all. Yes, there is a ranking coming soon, probably November though. don't get your hopes up. Like, I get what they're going for with the UK cover because like it is like vampires, but it's not just vampires. It's like, you know, it's vampires, but also it's like, it's bright and colorful. Like, I mean, like the blood and like the castle in his eye, and like, it's just, ugh. It's such a beautiful cover. I think it's so pretty. And it's a floppy paperback. This follows Remy. He is a vampire hunter. He ends up getting involved with this vampire couple because there are these extremely strange vampire attacks that are happening where these vampires are almost zombie-like, and they end up teaming up. There might be some polyamory to try and figure out what is happening. And the dynamic in here, I love it. I love it. The next 5 I'm going to talk about together. That is the entire Trials of Apollo by Rick Riordan. They're still in plastic because I'm lazy. The Hidden Oracle, The Dark Prophecy, The Burning Maze, The Tyrant's Tomb, and The Tower of Nero. I don't know when I'll get to these. I will get to them eventually. I'm kind of not really in a rush because I didn't love The Heroes of Olympus. And that is very much, I guess, kind of similar to this because third person, kind of a bigger cast. Not as much Percy Jackson, like a little bit, but not as much. Though even less Percy Jackson in this than Heroes of Olympus. But those aren't my preference in Rick Riordan books. And I just read Chalice of the Gods, and let me tell you, 5 stars, baby. And like also I read the King Chronicles, and they were all like pretty high 4 stars, I would say. So definitely like those first person perspective, very chaotic, very fun. Definitely more my style, but I still want to get to these eventually. I think the next 4 books also all came in the same order. I didn't hold them up the right way. They're not all facing the right way. So we have Witch King by Martha Wells. I recently read this. I'll leave the vlog where I read this down below. This I read for, you know, anticipated releases reading vlog, and I gave this a 5 stars. Really loved it. So this follows Kai. He is a demon and he wakes up in a tomb. He ends up freeing himself, and he goes and finds his best friend who was also trapped, and the two of them realize they don't really remember what happened before they were trapped, and also they can't his friend can't sense where her wife is, so the two of them set off on an adventure to try and find her wife and figure out what exactly happened. It's definitely character driven, like number 1, and also then I think it does have an interesting world and magic system, but the characters are definitely the stars of the show here. The next one that I've hauled, but also read, Albert's Heart by M.H. Carrick. This is the 3rd and final book in the Work of the Rose series. This cover is absolutely stunning. This entire series is absolutely stunning. And I give this 5 stars also. I do think the second book is my favorite, but I do enjoy this, and I do enjoy where the story went as a whole. There was a couple of things that I wanted to happen that didn't, and there was a couple of things that happened that I did not expect to happen that I loved. It's so hard to describe this series. So we start by following Ren, and she is a con artist, and she has returned to the city that she was born in with her sister, and she has decided that she is going to impersonate a noble woman, and she is going to get accepted into this noble house and, you know, set her and her sister up for life, as this family is not the most wealthy. And because she kind of chose them for this reason, because she knew they weren't the best, but she didn't actually understand how badly. She ends up getting involved in both the noble politics and lower classes, and she kind of ends up being the center of it all. And I just love this series. The last books that I hauled in August: Gathering Shadows and A Conjuring of Light. Shh. No, don't say anything. Yeah, I own 4 copies of A Gathering Shadows. I only own 3 of Conjuring of Light though. These are the black collector's editions, which I own the first book in. I have owned the first book in this edition for ages. I basically just decided, hey, I'm gonna just embrace the collector's mindset, so I'm getting them, and so I'm finishing that set. So I now have a complete set of the US paperbacks, original ones, not the new ugly ones, and the black collector's editions. I don't have a complete matching set of the UK paperbacks yet. There's nothing too special about them. They're like, you know, I mean, there's foiling underneath, and there's a lot of like art on the dust jacket. And I think, I mean, the art in there is like beautiful and stunning and all of that. There is a small short story which isn't in any of the other editions that I own, and also the same with this one. The short story that is in this is like, I would say, a lot more important than the ones that are in the A Darker Shade of Magic one, because there's actually like 3, and it's all about the origins of magic seen from 3 different worlds. And the second one, the Red London one, is really cute in A Darker Shade of Magic. And in this one, it's Kel's backstory. It's like, it's not even that long, it's like 8 pages. But if you can find it online, I would find it online. Now on to September, which is only 1 book. So the 1 book that I hauled is probably the most beautiful book. It's definitely the most beautiful book in this entire book haul. That is the special edition of The Sword of Kaigan. Look at it! So, The Sword of Kaigan by Emma Wang. Again, I have read this book. I read it back in May. I give it 5 stars. The original copy that I have was a gift from Cassidy for my birthday. Not even this year, last year, I think. It took me a while to get to it, okay? But I read it, I loved it. Look at these gilded edges. Then, as I said, beautiful cover. So, wholeness, she had learned, was not the absence of pain, but the ability to hold it. So yeah, so this is now officially one of the most beautiful books I own. Here's underneath. And then that's on the inside. And then on the other side is a map. And then we have it signed. And this is edition number 22 of 4,000. Which I am 22. So I'm extremely happy with this purchase, can you tell? I do have more books on the way. They will not be here before the end of September though, so they don't count. I'm gonna have a huge book haul before the end of December though. So thank you guys so much for watching. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, subscribe. And I will see you all in the next one. Bye.